with that being said, let's jump right into
Movies?
the top 5 movies. And this is including the Spider-Verse movies, and then the 3 Tobey Maguire movies, the 2 Andrew Garfield movies, and the 3 current Tom Holland movies. So I'll let you lead the way.
I'll start by saying I'm disappointed that I wasn't able to fit this in my top 5. I'm not a cheater. I'm not a cheater, okay? I did 5 movies, but I'm going to say what movie I'm very disappointed I could not fit into the top 5 list. And that movie is Spider-Man Homecoming.
Okay.
I'm very disappointed. I really liked that movie a lot. I'm a huge fan of Michael Keaton, and I felt like the Vulture in that was really good and a really cool twist on that with his daughter and all of that in the movie. I thought it was a really good first movie for Tom Holland.
Yeah. And so for those of you that haven't watched episode 1 of this podcast, go check it out. We ranked our top 5 Ted Lasso characters, and Wyatt put 7 in his list. So he cheated just a little bit on that, but
I did.
I'm glad you
I
only
didn't
got,
cheat.
I'm glad you only have 6 on this top 5 list, though.
We're cutting it down. We're cutting it down.
Yeah.
I'm just very disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed.
Let's see. For my number 6, Homecoming was not on my top 5. It was towards the bottom.
I knew it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I knew it wouldn't be.
My number 6 was Amazing Spider-Man 2. So the second Andrew Garfield movie. And it was a tough one to leave off because of that ending. It really hits you. And it's visually visually stunning. Like just watching it, his suit is so cool and the shots in the movie are so cool. So it was really hard to leave that one off.
I have it in my list. I have it in my top 5.
It's higher though.
It is.
Okay.
Yep. I think with all these movies, like the villain makes the movie go. So if you've got a really good villain, like Jamie Foxx did pretty well with his in that movie. Yeah. And so I feel like when you have a good villain like that, it makes for a really good movie. So
yeah,
that's why I got it a little higher.
Okay. So let's see. Let's start off with your number 5.
My 5 is the OG Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2. Okay. That is higher on my list. So let's wait to discuss.
Okay. So your 5?
Yep. My number 5. People are probably going to think I'm insane. For some reason, this movie is pretty... I don't know why, but people really hate it. Spider-Man 3. The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3. The black suit.
No.
Symbiote Venom. No. Spider-Man 3. And I know it's an unpopular opinion. Something about it. One, it's the movie that for some reason I've seen the most. Like, I don't know why, but it's just always on TV. And growing up, I had seen it a ton of times. But yeah, I'm assuming not on your list.
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah,
we're talking. You added that one and didn't add Homecoming? Like, are you kidding me?
Dude, I'm telling you, I hate the Tom Holland movies. I just don't like the new ones.
Sandman was good.
Yep.
And Venom was terrible.
Venom was terrible, but he looks so cool. Like, the new Venom movies, do you like those?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Those are good. If he was just in the Spider-Man 3, I think it would have been a lot better. But
yes.
Yeah, for some reason I just really like that movie. Not like really like it, but it's in my top 5.
Like the meme. The meme of him dancing is that movie. Like,
yeah, that's
so bad.
That's number 2 on the reasons I like it. It's funny. No, I'm just kidding. That goes against everything I just said about the Tom Holland movies. But No, I like the black suit. The black suit Spider-Man was just
Hmm.
really cool. And I think when the movie came out, for some reason, that's what made me gravitate towards it. And you
Yeah.
get to see this different side of Peter Parker when the
Hmm.
symbiote takes over. And then preparing for this, I watched like recaps because I couldn't remember all the movies. So I
Yeah.
watched some recaps, and at the end of that movie, Harry Osborn, he he sacrifices himself to protect Toby, Peter Parker, at
He
the
does.
end, and he gets impaled by his own glider, just like his dad.
Hmm.
They brought it full
Hmm.
circle. That's just a really cool moment, and I think that's what solidified it being in my top five.
No, that's fair. That's fair. And like when that movie came out, it was really hyped up. Like one and two were no joke, and then like the posters of Peter in the black suit, like that was it was really slick, really cool how they did hype the movie with that black suit that we hadn't seen before with the other Spider-Man movies, but
Yeah,
at the time, so it was hyped up really good, and I think it was a good movie, but it's not top five.
yeah, and oh man, I had like the Rotten Tomatoes rankings up.
Oh,
No,
I didn't even
that
think
one is
about
like
that.
really low. So
Yeah,
I gotta pull that up again quick. 1 second. The it is not the worst ranked Spider-Man movie. It's the second worst. It had 63% on Rotten Tomatoes. The only one that was worse was actually The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Andrew Garfield's second movie. Homecoming was number 5, 92% on Rotten Tomatoes.
that's right. Facts.
Wow.
This is
All
good.
right,
It
so
was good.
that's my number 5. Number 4, you can lead us off.
So my number four was The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I had that
Gotcha.
as my four. But yeah, like I said with Jamie Foxx, I felt like I felt like he was a good villain. It wasn't the best out of all of them, but yeah, I thought he did well, and the ending of it was big for me. It was really uh, I don't know if dark is the best word, but it was a tough ending, and so I thought that um, I thought that made it with that being in the top five. So
Yeah. I mean, maybe if I redid this list, it would slide in instead of Spider Man 3, but I had it just outside number 6. But yeah,
yeah.
the ending, obviously, it's been out for a long time, so I don't feel like we need to give a spoiler warning. But Gwen Stacy, um, she is falling to her death, and Peter webs her. I don't know how else to say it. He catches
Yeah.
her right at the end, but then her whiplash, she like smacks her head on the ground and dies. It's like
Yeah. It's
super.
tough.
Oh, it's so tough to watch. And their
Hmm.
relationship was like the heartbeat of those movies. So
Yes.
talk about emotional. Yeah, that was one.
Hmm. Yeah, it was good. It was good. I thought it was good. It could have been probably better, overall. I know Jamie Foxx's uh, beginning of his character kind of sucked, but when he became Electro, it was pretty cool. So
Yeah,
it was good.
I agree. My number 4
Number four.
was The Amazing Spider Man, the first one. Is it on your list?
Okay. No. Nope.
Okay.
Didn't.
So, one, I'm a sucker for an origin story. We already know that. You get to see Andrew Garfield's version, and a lot of the things that I said about the second movie, like his suit is awesome, visually stunning, and then his relationship with Emma Stone. That's the main
Hmm.
reason. Um, I think the only reason it's above the second one for me is because it's the origin story, and you can see how he gets his powers and all that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's my number 4.
Yeah, and for me, again with the villain, like the lizard was not good. He was not
Yeah,
good.
it was definitely subpar.
But I get the origin story for sure. I get it.
Yeah. All right, so number 3, go ahead.
Number 3 for me was Into the Spider-Verse.
Ooh, not on my list. It
Not
was
on your
close.
list.
So,
Yep.
like I said, number 6 was Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
Um, 7 was Into the Spider-Verse, but those two were pretty interchangeable. I thought long and hard about adding Into the Spider-Verse
Mm-hmm.
because I did like it a lot, despite
Yep.
everything I said about the second one. The first Spider-Verse movie was pretty cool, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
not on my list. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. I thought it was really good. Like what you were saying with not really knowing much about it, walking into it, and not expecting much from it. Um, I thought it was overall a really cool movie, and I mean, the first animated movie like that with bringing to life a comic book. It was really cool how they did that. I feel like the way we've touched on it already has been, it's a really cool origin story. It's really different than all of the others, and they kind of tie a little bit more of that into the second movie. So, um, and I'm all about Spider Gwen. I'm all about Spider Gwen, and we'll probably talk more about Spider Gwen and Haley Steinfeld in other episodes. But um, so I don't want to go. I don't want to go too far in detail with Haley
Yeah,
Steinfeld just yet.
but yeah, just so
But no,
everyone
I thought it was
knows.
good.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, Wyatt's celebrity crush, Haley Steinfeld.
Yep, yeah, she's yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All
I
right.
can't. I can't. Yeah, she's great. She's
Yeah.
great.
So my number 3 is Spider-Man 2, and you said you had that 5th, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so Spider-Man 2, um, Doc Ock, super cool villain. Um, for me, one of the things that I remember the most is that iconic subway scene where Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker is trying to stop the train, and you see him arms stretched out. Just you can see
Yep.
the veins popping through his suit's
Yep.
ripping, and he's stopping that train. Oh god, super cool. And then
Yes.
afterwards, because he exerted himself so much, he starts to faint and fall off, and
And
a
they're grabbing him.
passenger grabs him, pulls him in. They also get to see who he is because his mask is off. And the whole thing is the little kid gives him his mask and they're going to keep his secret. So, yeah, definitely my favorite part of that movie.
Hmm.
Um, I'll let you go before I keep going, but I have a little bit
No,
more.
I mean, I forgot that was in that second movie, but I thought that was a really cool scene of them being like, yeah, we'll keep your secret. They didn't say that, but they acknowledge that. I feel like that's like, especially talking about all the Marvel movies, and everyone kind of knows like who everyone is, and um, or like knowing who's behind the mask and the way that they've done it. It kind of gets a bit too much now. And so the way that they did that in the original Spider-Man movie and that second one, I felt like was really cool and really stood out of like how they show who he is, but
Yeah.
everyone's keeping it to themselves.
And at that time, he was like the villain, everybody. Jameson is always talking about how Spider-Man's the worst and he's a villain.
Yep.
Want to see who he is, reveal himself, all that stuff. So that was a cool
Yep.
moment. But then underrated thing that I really like about all the Tobey Maguire movies is it shows real struggles, like real struggles that normal people go through. Like he's broke. He's a pizza delivery driver and he lives in like the worst, most horrible apartment ever.
Yep.
And he's constantly um, trying to get away from his landlord because he hasn't paid his bills. And then also he's just like dealing with guilt of the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Harry thinks that Spider-Man killed his dad, and that's not
Yep.
the case. And Harry's supposed to be Peter's best friend. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. All those things just made me love that movie.
And yeah, I mean, Doc Ock was so cool, and especially how that movie ended, and he flipped and understood, what was going on at the end, and being the hero. Um, I thought that was so cool.
And dude, those tentacles are real. Like they weren't
Mm-hmm.
CGI'd. That's
No,
so crazy.
yeah,
Another thing I love
no,
about the original movies.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, they did good. They did good.
All right.
So we're on two. My two is the OG Spider Man,
Ooh, okay. It
number one.
is it is higher on my list, yeah. So obviously it just gave away my number one, but that's all
Yep,
right. My
yep.
number two then is Spider-Man No Way Home.
Well, that gave away my list.
Yep. That's kind of what I figured once you said that. So we just swapped our one and
Swip
two.
swapped. We
We
swapped
swip
it.
swapped our number one and two. Snip snap, snip snap. So yeah.
If you know Brennan and I, we are always quoting movies all the time in any conversation we're in. So whatever movie, TV show we end up coming up with a line for, we'll make it fit.
Yep, definitely. And let me tell you, this is how I feel I've been today.
Freaking idiot.
uh, yeah, had to work that one in there. All right, but
So
yeah, which
let
one you want to talk about first then?
well let's let's talk about No Way Home. Let's talk about that one first. You
Okay.
go ahead, because that's your second.
Yep. This is the one Tom Holland movie that I obviously really liked. And the reason I liked it so much was because there were real stakes, real emotion, some real stuff happens to him. It's not this happy go lucky movie where, oh my God, I'm on this spaceship and I'm in outer space. Like, come on. Uh, yeah, that was a shot. Sorry. But um, this one got real stuff that happens, and it brings back all the OG Spider-Man. Like there were so many rumors, this was rumored for a long time. Hey, I think they're all going to be in this movie, and then when they show up, it pays off, and then you get to see the OG villains too. Just really
Mm-hmm.
cool. Trip down memory lane for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's probably, uh, if No Way Home didn't come out, I wouldn't have thought of Tom Holland as a number one. I think the way that they had his character kind of find a dark spot, but then Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire showing him like, hey, you gotta. I know this stuff sucks and it happens, but you gotta see the light. And I mean, that was just such a uh, emotional part of the movie. I may have had some water in my eyes at that point in the movie. Um, and just the way they brought them all together and how they did that, and having Andrew Garfield be the first one to come in, and how he came in was so funny.
Yeah.
And um, I felt they did a really good job of keeping it light, but also showing, how dark it can get in Spider-Man movies. So I really thought, all in all, was a really, really good movie, and not to mention all of the villains that come back, and how insane Green Goblin is, and how
Mm-hmm.
he just flips on a dime and is just a
Oh,
weasel for everyone. And oh man, just the way that they did that movie,
yeah.
it had to be my number one, just because of how big they made it. And I mean, it surpassed anything that I expected or anticipated.
It was huge, and the reason I had to put the original Spider-Man first is because it's the original. But
Mm-hmm.
um, No Way Home, the way they bring everyone together, it was so cool. And I'm a huge movie theater experience person, so like nothing will probably top in Avengers Endgame when everybody coming in, or was that Infinity War? One of the two. But like the whole theater just erupts, everybody's cheering.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing happened in this movie when each of the old Spider-Man show up. Peter
Mm-hmm.
Garfield shows up. I knew right away it was him, and then immediately everybody starts cheering. Same thing when Toby gets in. And then you get to see like the weirdness of all three of them. Like they each have their weird, quirky
Yep.
characteristics. Yeah, really cool movie. If Tom Holland's version didn't have that one, yeah, I he's let's just say he's lucky that they got that movie.
Ah, man. Oh, man.
Don't let me sway you, but yeah, that's just how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so the OG Spider-Man, I mean, and I had to think about it at one for sure because it's the OG, but um, yeah, I just felt like No Way Home was just huge. It was just a huge
Yeah.
movie, but um, I mean the first time you see Spider-Man in live action and Green Goblin to hit it off, I mean, just it was insane. And the origin
Yeah.
story was really cool. And the only Spider-Man that can shoot webs out of his arm and aren't made webs. That was pretty cool.
Yep. I was gonna ask you this. Are you an organic webs person, or are you like a they make their webs person? Because I am all
Or
organic. Like it just makes
me
sense,
too.
man. Okay,
Yes, me
good.
too.
It's like
Especially, yeah, go ahead.
they get they get bitten by a spider, they get the spidey senses and all this other stuff. They can walk up walls, but they
Yep.
can't shoot webs. What? They have to make their own webs? What? That's the main
Mm-hmm.
thing a spider does. They have webs. Like,
Agreed.
yeah. I know. I think it's I think it's not like that in the comics. Like I think they make their own web shooters, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure on that. But yeah, I love the organic webs. It just makes more
Mm-hmm.
sense. Um,
Yes.
and another origin story. You get to see him figure out how to use all of his powers. The scene where he's
Mm-hmm.
jumping across buildings and then he swings into a billboard. Just love it all. It's hilarious.
I love when he's trying to use his webs for the first time, and
Yeah.
he's like, go, go,
Go webs.
go.
Fly.
That
Oh yeah.
was great.
So funny. And then yeah, like you said, Green Goblin is phenomenal. Like Willem Dafoe
Mm-hmm.
does an incredible job. Like what Julia was saying, he's like scary in that movie. And
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing I really like about all of those original Spider-Man movies. Sam Raimi, he made really dark movies, really,
Mm-hmm.
really emotional, really dark, and that's what I loved most about it. So yeah, that's why it's
The
number
mirror
one.
scenes, oh man, the mirror scenes just get me every time. Like it's
Yeah,
just insane how cool they have that scene, cut out, and how he's flipping on a dime and talking to himself in the mirror is
yeah,
so cool, so
yeah. He's
cool.
at war with himself,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get to see that in No Way Home. Yeah, cool. I'm glad they
Mm-hmm.
brought it back. Definitely a good top two there. Those top two are like far above the rest of them for me, at least.
Yes, I agree
Yeah,
with you there. Yeah.
yeah, awesome. Let's see. Anything else we want to touch on?
Uh, I mean, going back to this movie that's out now. Um,
Mhm.
I can't even remember the name of the movie.
Across the Spider Verse,
Across the
something,
Spider Verse.
some.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Uh, overall, like Brennan touched on with the movies, and like we're not steering you out of not going to this movie because we're always about going to the movies to see any movie. Um, and I feel like it was really a lot more of Spider Gwen's movie, like Gwen Stacy's movie, um, and kind of showing her background of things too, which I really liked. And um, I really like Spider Gwen, so I thought it was good.
Of course. Yeah, no, I was gonna say, um, I might not go see the third one. I'm not sure, but
Yeah,
I probably will end up seeing it just because I love going to movies, and it's supposed to be the end, right? Like they're gonna have a conclusion. If they don't, then I'm not going.
I think so. Because then eventually, I believe they're going to be in live action movies. So
Yeah, and that's also why
or talked about.
we didn't include them in our top Spider-Man because it's not live action; it's an animated version. And in that
Mhm.
movie, apparently, there's 5,000 different Spider-Men, and there's
Right.
195 billion different Earths, and yeah,
That there is. That there is.
yeah, but that's all right. Yeah, that's all I gotta
But yeah.
say.
So yeah. So my top five was Spider-Man 2, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man, and Spider-Man No Way Home.
And my top five was Spider-Man 3 at number 5, The Amazing Spider-Man at number 4, Spider-Man 2 at number 3, and then Spider-Man No Way Home at number 2, and then Spider-Man the original at number 1.
Heck yeah.
Rank our Spider-Man. We both had the same ranking. Number
Had the
3
same
Tom
ranking.
Holland, number
Number
2,
two, Andrew Garfield.
and number 1 Toby. Bang
That's a
bang.
wrap.
That's the
Nailed
answer
it.
sheet for you.
That's the key. That's the
Yeah.
key.
If that's not your list, then never mind. If you don't chew
I
Big
can't.
Red, then you.
Take it easy, Mountain Faith.